But speaking of major updates for you, we have to talk about one in the ongoing story of Lori Vallow Daybell and her husband, Chad Daybell, the so-called Idaho doomsday couple who are facing murder charges in connection with the deaths of Lori's children, JJ and Tylee, as well as Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell. But we can't forget that Lori has also been charged in Arizona with conspiracy to commit murder in connection with the death of her husband, Charles Vallow, who was shot dead by Lori's brother, Alex Cox, who's also now deceased. Arizona authorities have just released the tape police interviews after this shooting, revealing new details about what actually happened in that house, or maybe what happened in that house. Let's actually start with when Lori Vallow herself was questioned about this shooting.
Do you remember what your husband or your brother were saying or yelling during all of this? If they were at all?
Just kind of, get off me, ow, or whatever. They were like, don't talk to my niece about whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like it was, I don't remember specifics, but they were kind of both. They were kind of in the heat of it. I don't think there was many words that I remember.
So Tylee goes outside.
Yeah, she was outside.
And then what happened?
Then they got up from that, and my brother had stepped back, I guess, and then Charles was coming with me at the back, yelling at me to give him his phone still, because I had it in my hand. It was all really quickly, and then when I went around kind of in the circle, then my brother was there.
When you said when you were going around and he was coming at you with the bat, how was he holding the bat?
Just like that, backwards, almost in one arm.
Like he was swinging it backwards? He would have done
he would have swung it backwards at me, not frontwards.
Okay, yeah.
He was a professional baseball player.
Okay.
So it wasn't a good idea for Tyler to get out of that.
Probably not the.
I mean, he played semi-pro.
Yeah.
And he was, But, yeah, and then I was kind of turned around, and we were all right there in that room, except for the kids had been outside by that time, and I heard the gunshot. And
So you heard the shot? Did you actually see the shot, or did you just hear it?
I had gone around to the kitchen to get away from him, and so back around. So I don't know if he went in the house.
I didn't, so I'm a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, so I didn't see the shot. I heard it, and then I came back around and I saw that he was on the ground.
Okay.
And was freaking out.
Yeah.
And so I was just freaking out, and it just went into mom mode. I'm like, I've got to go to get JJ to school. I've got to get to the kids. I just felt like I got to get to the kids. And so I just went outside and to see if they were in there okay. I didn't want them coming back in the house when all that was going on. And got JJ in the car, and he was trying to come in. And Tylee was looking at me with the crazy eyes, what just happened. And I told her to get in the car and we're going to take JJ to school. And I just left.
Well, we can't have such a major development in the Lori Vallow Daybell saga without bringing in our resident expert on this case. Executive producer from Law&Crime, Kathy Russin, joins us now. Kathy, it's great to see you. I'm happy we have a chance to talk about this. And, Kathy, knowing that Lori has been charged with conspiracy and that she and Alex plotted this killing, that's what she's accused of, what stands out to you when you're listening to this, her demeanor, her statements?
Everything. So first of all, let's just talk about the end of that. She says she heard the gunshot, so she went into mom mode and went outside. Totally agree with that as a mom. And then she said she got the kids in the car and even decided to take JJ to Burger King to get food and go to take him to school. That I'm also okay with, because JJ was autistic. She probably needed to remove him and get him to normalcy. But her and Tylee then go to Walgreens and shop. And they have on CCTV footage they're shopping at Walgreens. Her husband has been shot. She's never returned to the house, and now she's at Walgreens shopping. And her laughter through that, talking about how he's a professional baseball player. Now, I know people can have a nervous laugh, or everyone reacts differently, but we've seen her in so many other situations that shows she does not have it doesn't appear to have the capacity to have compassion. It's so strange.
Yeah, and Kathy, we know that she and Charles had a really bad relationship. She even said earlier in the interview she didn't like him anymore. She wanted to get a divorce from him. But were there certain comments, certain inconsistencies, maybe in her account or versus Alex's account? One of the questions we say is, okay, what clues, looking at this, say maybe they planned to kill Charles? Maybe it wasn't just this fight that broke out of nowhere and they didn't know what happened and he was Alex was defending his sister and defending Tylee, but it was something more nefarious. What stood out to you, Kathy?
Yes. So we have Alex Cox's police interview pretty much simultaneously with Lori's. And Lori's asked why her brother spent the night before, and she said, I was worried. Charles was in town. He was coming to get JJ the next morning to take him to school. Things are very contentious, so I had my brother stay the night because I didn't want to be alone, and I was worried something would happen. Fast forward to Alex being questioned by the police, and they say, is there any reason you spent the night at your sister's house? And he said, no, we were just going to hang out the next day. Very casual. Also, he brings a rifle. Not just a handgun where people carry handguns, concealed carry. People do that on a daily basis. He brings a rifle in a case to his sister's house when he just spent the night because they're going to hang out. Those two things very much stood out to me when I was watching those interviews about why wouldn't he say, yes, she was worried he was coming. Why wouldn't he say that?
Yeah, it's a good point. And we didn't just hear from Lori and we didn't just hear from Alex. We also heard from Tylee about this shooting. And just to give everybody an understanding, she would be killed, within 2 months of this interview. It's so chilling, but take a listen to what she had to say.
So that happened, and he grabbed the bat from you.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of tell me that again real quick.
So I kind of stuck it out, and this is when he was like, if you hit me with that baseball bat, you're going to jail, and I didn't say anything because I'm like, okay. And so I'm holding it by like the end of the bat, the place where you hold it, and so he kind of took it, and I kind of like lunged forward and kind of lost like my footing, and so my mom was like, just let go, and so I kind of like slipped and I fell, kind of on like my side.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from that, my mom said to go to the car, so I just got up and ran out the door.
Okay. Did you see when you fell towards your side? Did you see what he did with the bat?
No, I wasn't really looking in that direction because from where I fell, the door was kind of more in my line of vision because I fell looking this way and the door was like right there, so I didn't look back.
So he was at a different line of sight than what you were looking at.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna take the bat and like do something with it. It was kind of just like, I need something in my hands to like feel safer.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So my kind of second dumb question is, and I don't know that there necessarily is, but I always kind of want to make sure, is there anything that, we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you about or anything that you think is important or anything that I should know? Because it's harder for you because you were there, and so I'm asking questions about something I didn't even see. So I just want to make sure, like, I didn't miss something or anything that you think I should know about.
That was pretty much it.
Okay. And if you think of something, in 5 minutes and tomorrow or whatever else, we can always talk again. It's totally fine. So I talked to your mom about, we have some victim services people that work here. They're not cops. They're really good at what they do. So I really want your mom to talk to them because I think it would be good that your mom has and you guys have some, maybe kind of some extra support if you need anything kind of go moving on. So I'm going to check in with your mom real quick, and if she's good to go, then I'm going to introduce one of them to you guys. That way you guys can talk before I take you guys back. Okay? Sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Nima, I'm going to get to you in a second in terms of what this means for the case, but Kathy, just want to turn to you one more time on this. Her demeanor, how she's speaking about this, your reaction, and also her account, does it match up pretty in sync with Alex and Lori?
Well, Lori says that Charles yanked the bat away from Tylee and raised up as if he was going to hit her, and Alex came from behind and grabbed him. Tylee's account wasn't that. It was that she put the bat between her mom and her stepdad to kind of break them up, and Charles grabbed the one end of it, and her mom said, just let go, and she did, and that's how Charles ended up with the bat, and she said nothing more about that, not that he was swinging up against her. But let me just tell you how heartbreaking this is because of what we now know. She is defending her mother, and she's defending her Uncle Alex. In that interview, she says, I just wanted to make sure my uncle was okay. She loved him and loved her mom. 2 months later, she is murdered, and both her uncle and her mom, now we know, had a hand in that, or at least the uncle's dead and can't be charged, but police say he had a hand in it, and the mom is charged with conspiracy to commit her murder.
It is just heartbreaking and disturbing, to say the least, when you're watching this. Now, Nima, let me turn to you. These tapes, how could they factor into a prosecution's case, in a potential trial for this conspiracy charge regarding Charles Vallow's death? And is there any way a defense attorney could use these tapes to the defense's advantage?
Well, Jess, in any self-defense case, defense attorneys love these types of videos, right? I mean, when we're looking at this in Ahmaud Arbery, where we don't think the prosecution is going to put these videos into evidence because it allows the defendant to get his or her story out without having to take the stand. So if you're a prosecutor, you're not going to put these tapes on in your case in chief. You might use them in cross-examination, but you're going to want to make the defendant, in this case, Lori Vallow, take the stand and actually defend herself, because we know the prosecution can use them, but she can't because it's hearsay. Now, obviously, I agree with Kathy. It's such an incredibly sad case to see Tylee just months before she was brutally murdered and buried in her parents' backyard. So really heartbreaking to see this testimony, and really probably one of the last moments that she was alive that was at least caught on camera. So I agree. Very hard to watch.
Well, not even her parents, Chad Daybell's front backyard, which is just so incredible to think about. Yeah, it's a disturbing case. We're going to continue to break down when new footage is released in it and try to connect all the dots. Kathy, thank you as always for coming on to break it down for all of us, and hopefully we can do something soon to talk more about this case. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to focus on Gabby Petito. We'll be back.
Hi, this is Dan Abrams with exciting news for all of our Law and Crime followers on YouTube. You can now get the live Law and Crime Network with YouTube TV for all of your daily live trial coverage, legal news, expert analysis, and original true crime programs. Subscribe to YouTube TV today, and then locate Law and Crime in the channel guide. And for only $1.99 a month, you can add the network to your bundle. Watch Law and Crime every day with YouTube TV. We put you in the jury box.